Considering the lack of major updates on Animal Jam, it's quite surprising that there are some ideas and game features that never got added into the game. From early adventure concepts, to unique game mechanics and possible item ideas that were never implemented, here are some of the most interesting hidden Animal Jam updates. Steve Fox, former WildWorks artist and game developer, is one of the original designers of the adventure system, first introduced back in 2013. After leaving the company in 2018, he made a series of posts showcasing some of his early works for Animal Jam, some of which were officially introduced into the game, while others remained hidden, never going past the concept phase, and weren't worthy of being implemented as game updates. Similar to the unreleased rooms shown as sketches, that could be accessed by hacking the game files, some of these concepts are early previews of official rooms or lands, that ended up being implemented sometime later. One of these places is the Chinese New Year social room concept, which ended up turning into a party update in 2016. Similarly, a deep sea social room early concept design was so successful, that it immediately made it into the game in 2011, turning into Deep Blue. Much the same as Pale Room, these were meant to be social places that didn't have a clear purpose originally, other than being socializing and probably trading hubs. A selection of different levels and concepts from National Geographic's Animal Jam. Levels were built using an in-house editor, using tile sets and assets from multiple artists. Most adventures feature multiple rooms, puzzles and traps. Here we can see, according to the developers, some early adventure maps and assets, some of which were successful enough to be implemented into the game, while others remain hidden till this day, as they never got officially released. Starting off with the early seasonal adventures designs: Spring-themed adventure, Lucky Clovers, Autumn and Halloween. There aren't too many significant differences between these original concepts and the current adventures, and most of the map remain unchanged in the playable version of these adventures. Also, we can see some of the early Phantom-themed adventure concepts, called the Phantom Castle and the Volcano, which were presumably early designs for the current Phantom Fortress and Greely's Inferno adventures, although it seems the map and some assets were changed before the public release of these adventures, many years after the sketches were made. There is also an underwater adventure with a similar style. One of the most interesting details provided by the developer, is a list of game mechanics that were meant to be part of a major adventure system update, which unfortunately never came, the reason for that being unclear. Originally, the Phantom system was more complex, with a more advanced gameplay and multiple trap designs. Even though the only Phantom trap mechanic available today is a Chomper Gland, the original concept includes 6 more unique adventure mechanics, each of those with their own attributes. This includes the Rose Bush, meant to hop the Phantom upon contact, a Hedge, which could block the Phantoms, stopping them from following the player, a Lichen meant to slow down the Phantom, Sunflower which could blow the Phantom away, a Big Leaf that could act similar to a slingshot or catapult, and finally the Topiary, meant to attract other Phantoms. Even though these features were most likely designed before adventures were introduced, some of them were meant to be introduced in the game later, as updates, according to the developers themselves. That of course never happened, for unknown reasons. Similar to the abandoned adventure game mechanic, there are some assets that were originally designed a long time ago with different purposes in mind, and were meant to be later released as updates, which never happened. Although the Phantom Topiary never made it as a game mechanic, it was officially released in 2018 as a DIN item, which could mean that every one of the original adventure concepts could have been added into the game in a different form, like items. Similarly, some Phantom Fortress assets were never used in the final version of the adventure, despite the original designs. This could indicate a future update introducing them as DIN items, unless the ideas were also abandoned. One of the most interesting concepts is a jungle pyramid temple. This could have been part of a new, different kind of adventure, that was never released, as the original design works and sketches were scrapped, making the pyramid temple the only indication of that. It could have also been an early dinner room concept which turned out to be unworthy of an official release in any way. Even though it could be associated with the Trials of Xios adventure, as it has a similar style, the temple cannot be found in the game files, as it never got past the concept phase. Who knows if any of the concepts will ever get officially added into Animal Jam, but considering the general lack of updates, perhaps these ideas will always remain hidden, never reaching the development phase. What's an update you would love to see on AJ?